Now we can look at scientific aspects, yes, but let's show you the philosophy behind the whole gambit of evolution. If you start with the Big Bang, everybody heard that, and then you got the first cell of supposedly evolving. The Big Bang says it this way. According to Discover magazine, and he has a copy of that at home if you want to see it, but right here, there's a quote right on the front cover, Discover magazine, a magazine that is committed to evolution. It will not use design. It will not use God in its magazine. Did you know that? It's committed to an evolution. No God, naturalistic system. What I mean by naturalistic system is, it's a system where there's no God involved at all in the formation of the universe or of life. Okay, that's what they're saying. So where did everything come from? Let's look at that quote right there. The universe burst into something from absolutely nothing. Zero, nada. And as it got bigger, it became filled with even more stuff that came from absolutely nowhere. Now, was that philosophy or is it science? You see, that's philosophy, isn't it? Then they say, ask Alan Guth how that's possible. His theory explains everything. No, it doesn't really. It doesn't help at all. And in fact, it's even more philosophy when you hear it. So according to this idea of the Big Bang, that out of this huge explosion, all of the order in the universe arose. Somehow a planet came into a solar system, an atmosphere around that particular planet, and then the lightning zapped through the atmosphere, hit the chemicals, made bigger chemicals called amino acids. They lined up like beads on a string to form proteins. Those plus 1,000 other things formed the very first cell accidentally, and then that cell went on to become you. All right? This is naturalism. I also call this method of getting life the goo to you by way of the zoo method.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what evolution is. Anyhow, that's naturalism. It requires faith. And time? Millions and billions of years, right? Time and accidents using only natural processes. That's what naturalism teaches. So it's a battle of worldviews. Either we're going to allow God or we don't allow God, right? If you look at the probability of getting that first cell accidentally, even a simple cell, according to an atheist and an agnostic, they figured out what the chance of getting one cell would be. They said it was one chance in 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 40,000 times. You understand that's a big number? You know, you can only get 10 times 10 times 10, 260 times marbles into the entire known universe. You see, so what's the chance of getting that cell? Not very likely, right? Not going to happen. But the atheist and the agnostic, after calculating what they said the probability would be, said this: it would be more likely for a tornado to sweep through a junkyard and produce that Boeing 747 complete and ready to fly than it was to make one single cell. Then they said there must be a God. Well, did they run out and buy a Bible to find out about that God? The answer is no. In the article, they stated, we are still looking for a way around our conclusions. Yeah. See, they're committed to naturalism. Some of you may have heard about the court case in Kansas, where they're going to wonder, can we teach intelligent design in a classroom? Oh no, they said, you can't teach intelligent design. Why? Because that means designer. Designer, now it's no longer naturalistic, it's supernatural. We can't have that, right? Separation of church and state, we can't do that. That's what happened in Kansas. That's what's happened in several other cases as well. So even though the evidence is crying out, things look like it's created with a design, it couldn't just happen, they have to ignore it. Here's what Dr. Scott Todd said, correspondent to Nature, and in fact is relating to teaching intelligent design. He said, no way. Even if all the data point to an intelligent designer, Such an hypothesis is excluded from science because it is not naturalistic. Time out. Who said science has to be naturalistic? See, that has crept in the last 25 to 30 years. Did you know that? That's what's happened. It used to be you can go where the evidence leads, but you can't do that anymore. So what was the upshot of this? You can't even mention intelligent design in a classroom because it might convince a student that there's a designer separation church or state who can't have that. That's what you're faced with. There's a battle out there, right? Mm-hmm. Battle of worldviews. Naturalism versus supernaturalism, right there. Unfortunately, this has a lot of toll. I told you already, the number one reason students give for not responding to the gospel is evolution. Bill Gothard was quoted years ago. He said that 70 to 85% of the students from evangelical church homes leave the church, mostly because of evolution. That's bad.
But do you really believe it's evolution? Do you believe it's the sin of man?
It's a sin of man, but evolution is the excuse then.
Yeah.
Okay? Very likely. This is what's going on. And as we run around the country, I used to go to church, a high percentage of them say, why? Because of evolution. That's what they're saying right there. All right. Colossians 2:8 says it this way. See to it. This is emphatic, isn't it? I like this particular version because it shows the emphaticness of it. See to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy. What did I say evolution was? Philosophy, not science, right? Don't be taken captive. The King James says, see to it no one spoil ye. That word spoil ye is a military term. That means taken as spoil in a military campaign. Okay, that's what it means. There's a battle out there, and we are to see to it that no one takes us captive through philosophies. And how many young people at the University of Wyoming are being taken captive, say? All right? And bring you a little closer to home there.